Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It looks like we are back, guys. We are back. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm boy NarikChase. In this video, we are going to be talking about the best and worst zombie video games. Now, this is a streamlined episode 42. Sorry, we didn't do one last week. We was out of town. So we're back. But I wanted to go ahead and get in a video because I like zombie stuff. And zombie games are pretty prevalent nowadays. You got at least like 10 of them come out every year, whether they're like big budget or small budget. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Now the rules for these best and worst are games. Obviously, games that I've played, and I've seen some games be played. A friend played Dead Rising 2 and Dead Rising 3, and I've seen them play. What's that game? I can't think of what it is right now. But it's like the weird simulation game, but it's got zombies in it. I can't think of it. I'll think of it right in a little bit. But anyways, I've honestly watched some zombie games, of course, but I'm not counting those. I'm not counting ones that I actually haven't played yet. So this list is going to be about games that I've played. It's going to be about zombie games that aren't like alien infectionized ones. So it's not going to be like the infection forms from the Flood or Halo. It's not going to be the infection forms from Dead Space. It's not going to be the infection forms from like Mass Effect. It's going to be strictly zombies. Yes, there are zombies that are like the kind of smart infected zombies and not necessarily the dead zombies. So I'm counting those too, though. Also, games where the main antagonists, for the most part, are zombies. Now, not all zombie games, the zombies are the only bad guy or the main bad guy most of the time. But for the majority of the game, zombies are the main antagonizing force. That's what we're going to count. And of course, I'm not going to include DLC. I know Call of Duty has a little zombie mode. I know Tomb Raider had like a zombie mode also, but I will make one exception, and that is the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, which I did include in this. I didn't beat it, but I did play it and I enjoyed it. But having said that, let's go ahead and get into the best and worst zombie video games. Alright, first off on the list, guys, we have Plants vs. Zombies. Now, Plants vs. Zombies is a little handheld game. They have it on consoles now. And it's basically you utilize plants with special abilities and stats and strengths and weaknesses to stop a horde of zombies from coming into the owner's house and eating his brains. It's a very fun game. There's a lot of diversity to the zombies as well as the plants. It's funny too a lot of times with the dialogue and some of the cinematic sequences that they do have in the game. But it is a great game. And a pretty fun and innovative zombie game as well. Now, do they have a bunch of knockoffs? Yes, they do. Have not played them. I have played the sequel, Plants vs. Zombies 2. Now, I think that this game is a good game, but it's two things that kind of make it ruin it a little bit. Now, as a story, the story really isn't something worth mentioning. But having said that, now when it comes to the different types of plants and zombies that you do interact with and play with in the game, there's a lot more of them this time around with a lot more different, interesting, more abilities, which is a step up. Thumbs up for that. But when they go through like the actual zombie horde mode, yeah, they go through the zombie horde mode on this freaking game. Like, it is freaking insane to like the point like there were levels I did not see how I would make it through. Now, really the worst thing about Plants vs. Zombies 2 is the microtransactions. A lot of times you can't really there are some levels that you're not going to know how to get through when when you have only so much sun to point out plant some of these plants to have, or these special perks that you get. Bit my tongue there for a second. Perks that you get that actually help defend against zombie hordes. But if you want to actually play a pretty challenging game that's a step up from Plants vs. Zombies, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is your game. Now, I have not played Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, so I can't really throw that on this list. Excuse me. Now, I have recently, within like the last 2 or 3 years, I bought the first Resident Evil game because I never actually went through the game like that when I was younger, and I didn't understand the hype. Understand the hype now. That is a freaking awesome game. I haven't beat it yet. I think I've gotten about halfway through the game, but it's creepy. The music is creepy. The setting, the camera angles are creepy. And the zombies. And for those who know play Resident Evil isn't just zombies. There are other creatures in the game, but the zombies can be just as tough assholes as the rest of the creatures in the game. So it was a very I'm sorry, some trail mix. Good God. Maybe I need to get some water after this. But anyways, it's a really good zombie experience in terms of a video game. And also I got Resident Evil 2, but I played a little bit pieces of Resident Evil 2. Definitely expands upon the idea of Resident Evil 3 with staying creepy factor in the environment as well as the music and the creatures and the gameplay, of course. Played Resident Evil 3. That game is just raw. Love the zombies. Love the BOWs in the game. Of course, the main antagonist, the star of the show in the game, next to Jill Valentine, is Nemesis. But that doesn't stop the fact that the zombies are everywhere, and you have to try to outmaneuver them as well as him. Great games. They're awesome zombie games. And I'm not going to go through every game that's in Resident Evil because I have not played every game that's in Resident Evil, just the ones that I've played. And I will eventually make a Resident Evil video game video, which would be awesome. Now, I've played Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is like has those types of zombies that are infected but not dead, so they're smart, but they do need to eat and stuff like that. But they are pretty challenging because they think, they can strategize, they use weapons and stuff. So, and plus, Resident Evil 4 is like the game that got me into Resident Evil because I watched that one. On that G4 channel, Cheaters or something like that, and it was showing me how the gameplay was, how to beat the bosses, and I was like, yes, let's go ahead and get that game. Awesome game, got me into Resident Evil. Great, it's just one of my all-time favorite zombie horror action games. They did a great balance of horror and action. I ain't taking on that. Then again, I didn't feel the need to. I actually stayed up. Slept in pretty late, but and then you have its sequel, Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 5. I like they stick with the infected, so they're smart. They can maneuver, they can strategize, they can use weapons, and I think that does make for a pretty awesome and more unpredictable zombie game. Now, like Resident Evil 4, which Resident Evil 4, the issue of Resident Evil 4 is, it's linear, but it's not like a chosen linearity. It's like when you start from the beginning of the game, that's where you start from, and then you can't really pick any chapters until, you know what I mean? So you just go all the way to the end. And really the only problem I have with Resident Evil 4 is I wish they would have like branching paths. So if you go through the game one way, you can turn around and play the game and go a different alternative route, which is okay, but it's still a great game. Now, Resident Evil 5, it's not a bad game. It's really not. It's actually one of my favorite games. But as far as like a zombie game, it's a decent zombie game. Although there are some parts in the game that kind of don't really make sense. And it's linear, but the problem with its linearity is it's not, like usually in typical Resident Evil games, you start from you start at the beginning, you go to the end, you can't pick your way through it. Now, more of the recent ones that let you pick chapters and stuff you can go to and stuff. And I think as far as that making it a great zombie game, I think that's kind of a problem. But I do like Resident Evil 5 because it is a fun game. I'm going to switch over to something else and then go back to Resident Evils. Left 4 Dead, of course, makes this list. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. It is a great zombie game, but the only way that this game is actually a great zombie game is if you're playing co-op. And the co-op is fun. It can be annoying with people that don't really give a damn about what's going on, but it can be a very fun and challenging game. And it was and like some of the more zombie games that you see nowadays, you see variants of zombies. which I think actually adds to the overall experience. It makes it absolutely freaking amazing. But and I like the co-op. Like you have to depend on your fellows. Now, the one thing that Left 4 Dead series does have really that makes it stand out more than the other games in the zombie genre is the fact that the zombies, they're fast, and when I mean fast, like they are fast. It's stupid how fast they are, and how versatile they are. They can climb over buildings, jump gates, and run through the water, and just all types of crazy stuff. And that kind of and it's a cool mechanic, but at the same time, it can be annoying because with a mechanic like that, you can't play the game by yourself. Yes, you have AI companions, but you can't really strategize with the AI companions like that. And if you do like run off or you get separated, sometimes that could be a hassle them trying to come back and get you. But as far as a zombie game, and as far as a fun multiplayer zombie game, Left 4 Dead is the shit. Not to mention the multiplayer is just on this game. You being able to play as either the protagonist and humans or the zombies themselves. Just all around fun zombie game to check out, both of them. State of Decay is another zombie game. Now this is an interesting zombie game because it's open world and it relies on this survival mechanic where you have to get resources and help people and things like that. And I started playing it, thought it was a really good game, but I never finished it. In fact, it's been weeks since I picked the game up. But I actually like the open world aspect of the game, and I think that does make for a more immersive experience, especially with the survival mechanic of you have to come in and check on the supplies and the food and things like that. So I need to get back into State of Decay, especially since the second one just dropped, or isn't currently dropping or is about to drop. But I think State of Decay is actually a pretty cool game. Now I cannot mention zombie games without mentioning one of the highlights that I've seen. And that is The Walking Dead Season 1 and Season 2. Now, I did download Season 3 and I did download Michonne, and I haven't played them. Shame on me. But going back towards the zombie games, Walking Dead Season 2, The Walking Dead is one of those series that definitely shows that you don't need to have a full on out assault against zombies. You can actually make a very compelling story, a character driven story, and still make the gameplay awesome. And I think that's what makes The Walking Dead stand out pretty much more than any other zombie game that I've played so far is the fact that it has such a just a gripping story with really immersive characters and a lot of depth and emotion to it. Also, now I will say I did get The Last of Us, but my sister let me borrow, but I haven't picked it up yet. So of course I'm going to come back with another video game, best and worst zombie video games, and try to bring Zach on, or Ken on, or Madam B on, or someone else on, possibly even my friend Derek. So we could talk about and talk about comparisons and things like that. Especially, I think he's played the Last of Us, but I need to play The Last of Us and get that review up and things like that. But going back to The Walking Dead, great game, definitely deserves to be on his best and worst list. I played the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, and it's pretty cool. It's nice being able to have this open world experience and being a cowboy and dealing with zombies. Now, sometimes the zombies could be freaking annoying, but sometimes they could be incredibly stupid. But I did like it for the most part. I have not beat the story aspect of it yet, but I still like the experience itself. There's this game called Deadlight that I played. Was surprised by how good it was. The gameplay, as well as the visuals. Now the story, but one of the best things about it is the game, and it's one of those games where the zombies are a threat, but there are other threats, including the environment itself, as well as other survivors and like the government and stuff. But Deadlight is a surprisingly good game, and I would definitely thumbs up anyone who's looking for a good solid game to play. This is a very cheap game, great game. Check it out. Of course, there's Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide. Now, I know Dead Island got a lot of mixed reviews here and there. I even got notice of it, caught wind of the game when I watched Angry Joe, and I don't think he liked the game too much. Man, I ended up playing the game. I love the game. It's a great open world experience. And one thing about this game that I like that makes it stand out from other zombie games is every zombie is a freaking threat. No matter how high your level is, no matter what you got, every zombie can potentially kill you. It doesn't matter if they're on the ground, it doesn't matter if they're fat, it doesn't matter if they're slow, it don't matter any of that. Every zombie in the game is a potential threat, and the island is full of zombies. So it makes scavenging and things like that very challenging at times. And of course, they do have their variants. They have the exploding ones. They have these ones where like their arms, like they're like bone. Their arms are nothing but like bones, so they use them like blades. They have these big like hulking ones that take a lot of damage. So there are those like that. So it's Dead Island, Dead Island, Riptide. Oh, Riptide also had those fat zombies that were floating in the water. I think they were called floaters or something. And I think they explode, but I can't remember. I need to get back into the game. And they also had those big tall ones that when they see you, they were like roar. So those were actually pretty cool too. And I did like Dead Island because again, like Left 4 Dead, it had the 4 player co-op. It was incredibly fun, and it was always great playing with other people. I started playing this game called How to Survive, and I like that game. You're this person or people get stuck on this island full of zombies, and you gotta find your way off of it. And it's got this guy that's telling you how to do that. And it's a really good game. I love top-down games, and I found this one to be a really good adaptation. Also, I like the fact that the game emphasizes like scavenging. You can build your own weapons and stuff like that. The animals remain threats. The zombies, even the environment. Like it was a great top-down zombie experience for me. Uh, and going back towards the Resident Evil aspect of it, Operation Raccoon City, I did like it to a certain. There were some elements of it. I know everybody hates it. There was some elements to the game that I actually did like. One being like how the zombies would could kind of run and kind of jump, and they'd be a little bit more versatile, so you could see actually how they could take over a city. I did like that to a certain extent, even though pretty much everything else. Like I was playing it not too long ago, and it was like I would use a whole clip to try to kill someone, and like that kind of made it like very annoying. But I did like fighting or running away from that guy that infected himself. I can't remember that fool's name. That idiot that infected himself. Burkham. Yeah. Um, Also, Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 did something I both liked and both hated, and it made zombies awesome. It made them challenge. They would run at you. They would jump at you. You could roll around and try to get away from them. Like I loved what they did with the zombies in Resident Evil 6. They would have weapons. Sometimes they would kind of try to use them. Whether it was long range or axes or poles, they would jump. Like I love that the big fat zombies. Like I love that. Like that whole first part of Leon being on the college, going in the sewer and getting to the city was what I believe all fans of Resident Evil would have wanted. And you actually could see like the world, the city go to hell. Love that part. Now, the only biggest issue with that game is, of course, the weapons. It took away from the tension. When you're playing a game, you pretty much mow down everyone after a certain point, and it was very hard to stay suspenseful. And it too had a linearity to it that could have been taken out, and it felt like more of an anime than an actual video game. But me personally, I could say it's a good and bad game. It was a good and bad game. Also, I have Resident Evil, and going back towards Operation Raccoon City, same thing. It's kind of good, but it's like a bad game. Uh, Revelations and Revelations 2. I like Revelations. I think it's an interesting game, but it wasn't really like, it didn't really catch me like that. Maybe because it was one player. Maybe it was kind of the story. I thought the story was kind of stupid too. It has an interesting twist to it, but it's still kind of a stupid story. But I like Resident Evil Revelations 2 better. I liked the focus of Claire, Barry, Moira, Natalia. The only problem I had really with Revelations 2 is the villain. It takes place in two time periods, the present and the past, but for the villain, she gets more time in the present tense after she transforms than she does in the past tense. Like I would have liked to see more great exchanges between her and Claire, or you see a lot more exposition of the villain. And that's one thing I love about villains. My villain rankers, like I've always said, they either got to be memorable, with great personality, or they got to be badass. And I feel like she wasn't really either one of those. So that was my biggest problem with her. Uh, but I did like the game. I did like the zombies. They were ruthless. I hate those things. Now, in Revelation, you get these zombie sea creature things, and they were okay. They were challenging as well. But I did like the Resident Revelations too, and because it felt like they did harken back to the original games in some aspects. Also, I played a little bit of Zombie. It was actually pretty cool, and I need to go back and beat it. I played this game called Amy, where you're this woman trying to protect this little girl in this zombie apocalypse. And I'm at like chapter 2, where I have to fight like these government officials or something, or stealth. It was like a stealth part where I had to like not get caught. But it was an interesting game. It was an interesting game, and of course, I was gonna leave this off. I'm gonna add it. House of the Dead. I really like House of. I don't. It's all right. It's all right. I wish it had I wish it was actually a story based game and not just one of those run and gun shooter types. I think at this point they need to reboot that. Oh, and the game that I was talking about, my homeboy was playing that was really tough was the Evil Within. He couldn't get past that, and I want to borrow the game from him so I can try to play since I like zombie games and stuff. But anyways, guys, that's it for today. Those are my best and worst zombie games that I've played. I'm looking forward to definitely updating this list to include more recent ones as well as some older ones, and possibly even do one for each system. Which one was like good on each system or something like that. Zombie types, zombie killers. I just got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do with this. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about the list of zombie games that I played. Which ones you thought were the best ones, which one you thought were the worst ones, and recommend me some zombie games to play that I haven't played yet, so I can do reviews and stuff on it too. And definitely check out the website as well, because there are a lot of great content on there. Always updating it weekly like I do this YouTube channel. So y'all guys definitely go out there and check it out. It's got a lot of great content. And anyways, hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on the NarikChase channel, as well as stay tuned Tuesdays and Thursdays for more videos, because we will be uploading. So y'all can stay tuned. And without further ado, catch you guys later.